If you're frustrated with somebody on your team who used to be the best person and now can't seem to keep up, you don't have a people problem, you have a systems and design problem. The structure, the roles, and the tools have outgrown that original setup. And that has actually caused you to have a level gap. Now, what's a level gap? That's the distance between the level your business is on and the level that person is on. They didn't get worse. Your practice or your business just grew and leveled up, and nobody leveled that person up with it. Now, in this video, you'll learn 4 shifts that'll tell you exactly who that person is in your business and whether they come with you or need to be removed. The 4th one is actually the one that matters most because the first 3 grow the person you already have, and the 4th one stops it. It stops them from being a part of the building. Now, the build that got you through level 1 is the exact build that gets you killed on level 5. Now, I'm talking video game terms. If you ever played Super Nintendo or any other games where you have to level up, you don't get mad or rage at that starter gear that you get in the starter level. It was perfect for what it was built for at that stage. And it got you through to this point and through that first world. However, then the boss changes, the damage changes, the difficulty level shifts, and that exact gear that carried you on that level is the reason you keep dying. The gear never got worse, the level got harder, and the skills didn't improve yet. Now, here's the part that nobody says out loud. You already know who this person is. You knew before you clicked on this video, you've known for a couple months, and you've been quietly hoping the next quarter kind of sorts it out. So let me ask you something, and just answer it and be honest with yourself. How long have you known? That's not weakness. That is what happens when somebody slips and you catch it every single time. You fixed the note before it went out. You redid the schedule. You took the call back. You told yourself you were being kind and a leader. In a game, you call that caring somebody. Caring is just protection with a nicer name, and protection is the reason they have never once felt the weight of the thing that they're supposed to be holding themselves. Which is why hiring another person doesn't fix this. You'll start protecting that person too. The season our practice was in, now I'm managing partner for our practice. And the season that we were in, we grew past our original setup. So I'm speaking from experience. And it forced us to let people go, and we're just growing in a different direction. The vision never changed. It's just that the level that we reached required more from all of us. And a lot of people could not shift with that growth, right? And that's just going to happen, and that's just realistic for the business. As much as you care for the team and you built these bonds, there are those who are going to come with you, but a lot of them aren't going to stay. And like I said in this video previously, your business is like a plane, and you have a crew, and those crew have seats. The seats aren't married to that person specifically. That seat is a role, and you have to fill that role for operations to run. Now let's get into this first shift so you can implement everything. Somewhere in your house, you have a smoke detector, and it chirps. You know what I'm talking about. One too many times, and somebody pulled the battery out. Probably was you. The chirping stopped, but nothing about your house got safer. It's actually more dangerous to live in at this point. And this is exactly what you're doing with your team. Every time you fix their work, instead of sending it back to them, you're pulling that battery and the signal stops. The problem doesn't stop or gets resolved, right? That problem is still there. So here's how you actually tell. And it's not by watching them, it's by watching yourself. 1, they're working harder than they have ever worked, and less is coming out of the other side. 2, you started checking their work before it goes anywhere, and you don't remember deciding to start. 3, they used to just handle it. Now they ask you first every single time. The third one is probably the loudest one and the easiest to miss because it feels like respect. Somebody who used to own a thing and now asks permission isn't being careful. They're telling you they lost the ground under their feet. Now, name the moment you first notice it in your own business. The tell is always in your calendar before it's ever in their performance. And that just, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you know that feeling. You feel tired, burnt out. Now, let me ask you the uncomfortable version. In the last 30 days, how many times have you fixed something quietly instead of handing it back to someone? If you can't answer that, that is your answer. For the next 7 days, you're not going to change a thing. You're just going to write it down. Every time you fix something, instead of handing it back, one line, what it is, whose it is, and how long it took you. That's it. We're just going to audit. Don't announce it. Don't tell anybody you're doing this. We have to first fix the problem in ourselves so we can address it with the team. It's the only way you're going to help them grow. Now, at the end of the week, you will not be holding a list of their mistakes. You'll be holding a list of your own. Your job stopped being the person who catches it. Your job is the person who decides who's supposed to catch it. You are the owner of your business. You're not the employee. You're helping it get to that next stage. Now, that list, it has a name. It's your cover log, and it's the only honest measurement of that level gap that you've got. But a log only proves somebody's behind. It won't tell you whether they can't catch up. So what actually decides that? Let's use passports as an example, right? When someone gets a passport, it doesn't mean they want to leave home permanently. It actually just means if they decide to go somewhere and want to, nothing is standing in their way. Those are two completely different things. And, most owners only ever ask that first one. That is exactly what you're doing with your team. You keep asking whether they can. You have never once asked whether they want to do these things. We did the same thing recently, and it's been a mistake that's cost us some of our best people and kept us keeping people who should have been gone months ago. Now, there are three things. They only work in this order. The first is mindset. Do they want the version of this job that's coming, or do they want the version that they signed up for? Next is going to be skill set. Can they actually do the work at the level the business needs, or only the work from the previous level the business was at? Can they keep up? The third one is going to be strategy. Can they see the vision? The board that you laid out, have you properly communicated with them? And or do they only see their piece of it? Right? Can they only see their part of the vision, but don't see themselves fitting a part of that? Now, here's why that order isn't a negotiable. Skill, you can teach. Strategy, you can teach. Slower, but it's teachable. Mindset, you cannot teach. And I've watched owners burn an entire year finding that out the expensive way. I've seen my mother do the same thing, because you're in this field of mental health and behavioral health. You come out here with your heart on your sleeve and you just truly care. And not just with your clients, but with your team as well. But if somebody is a no on mindset, and the other two columns really don't matter, you can stop reading. You already have your answer. You just don't like it. You can't try to change someone's mind about things. That's way harder to do, and practically impossible, because it's a decision that they made for themselves. And you're not in the brainwashing business, right? The person who's excellent at their job and has zero interest in the bigger version of it is not a failure. That is a valuable human telling you the truth on time. Now, the trap is hearing no on mindset and deciding they're disloyal, those are unrelated. Most owners never asked directly because they're afraid of the answer and then spend 18 months guessing at it anyway. Guessing costs more than asking every single time, and it just compounds. Take one name, use the three columns, yes or no on each of them, no maybes, because a maybe is just a no you're not ready to write down. Do it today before you talk yourself out of it. The answer you already have. And ask yourself this honestly. If they said no to the next version of this job tomorrow, would you be surprised or would you be relieved? Because chances are you already know this. Now, in that moment, you're not their manager. You're not the person who has the honest, about what the job turned into. Now you got a verdict on paper, which means you've got a decision to make. And this is exactly where almost everybody stalls out for the year. You are the owner of the business. You're the CEO, and you can't let the ship sink. You've held a door for somebody who turned out to be a lot further away than you originally thought. And you stood there because putting it down at the point felt worse than holding it. Meanwhile, the entire line behind you, everyone else on your team, you stopped moving. This is exactly what you're doing with them. What you're calling loyalty to one person is a bill everybody else on your team is paying. If you break a bone, it's going to heal. That's not effort, that's just what the body does. But it can't heal improperly. Wrong angle, wrong position, and now it causes more problems than the break ever did. And what happens? They don't leave it when you go to the doctor. They actually go back in, break it, cast it on purpose, right? Nobody calls that cruel. It's the only way it's ever going to heal the right way without causing more harm, right? Your person is already healed. Nobody said it. They found their own way to cope with a job that outgrew them. And it's crooked. So fixing it is going to feel like breaking something. And that is not you being harsh, that is you setting it so it can hold weight again. Three columns from before give you three outcomes. Only three. There is no fourth one where you wait and see. Yes on mindset, short on skill, you grow them, 90 days written down, real checkpoints, not a pep talk. If it's a yes on mindset, but the role outran them, you right size it, move them into the seat they're genuinely excellent in, and higher the gap. So that is not a demotion unless you deliver it like one. No on mindset, you let them go. Not because they failed, but because you are standing in a doorway holding something that stopped being theirs to hold. And the reason this is hard has nothing to do with them. It's letting go. That means admitting you saw it months ago and said nothing. Your other strong people already know. They've been carrying it themselves as well. They are watching it and what you do about it. And high performers, they do not leave over hard work. They leave over watching you tolerate something. If you got your own version of this moment, it goes right here. It's the most useful 30 seconds in this video. And the reason you've been avoiding all of this is you don't know what to actually say. So here it is. There's 3 lines that you can use, and then you just stop talking. Here's where we are going as a business and where we're going over next year. Here's your seat, your role, and this is what it looks like in this current season that we're in. Is that something you want, or does that sound like something you can't do? That last question is the whole thing because it gives them a way out that isn't failure. Right? Most people will tell you the truth if you built them a door they can walk through and with their dignity intact. You've never built that door, right? So put a day on the calendar, 90 days out, then write one sentence about what has to be true by that date. That sentence is the entire decision. Once it's written, you can't unknow it. Now, everything up to here fixes the person you've already got. But how did you end up with a level gap in the first place? You had the best baker in the city, so you made her the manager. Now you don't have a baker, you've got a manager who hates managing, and the schedule is still wrong. That's exactly what you're doing with your team. You keep handling leadership and handing it off to people as a reward for being good at something else entirely. Has no relation to what they need to do. Every level gap you'll ever have starts the same way. Somebody was excellent, so you gave them more, not different, more. More clients, more hours, more responsibility, same seat, no new skills, and no conversation about whether they want any of it. Then months go by, you're confused about why, your best person is drowning, you didn't promote them, you just loaded them on with more stuff. And so here's a fix, and it costs you nothing to do it. Before the next person gets more of anything, run one test. Give them the responsibility before you give them the title. 90 days, one real project that belongs to them, and you don't rescue it. If they carry it, the title is a formality. If they don't, you just saved both of you years in a resignation letter. You are not rewarding people anymore. You're finding out who they are before it costs somebody their job. You can carry somebody through a level. You cannot carry them through the game. Every hour you spend keeping them alive on this one is an hour you're not spending as the boss in front. They still haven't learned the fight. You've been protecting somebody from the exact thing that would have leveled them up. That was never loyalty, and it was never kindness. It has been easier than the conversation you needed to have. Now, if you do the log and go through those 3 columns, so go ahead and do that log, fill those 3 columns, and have those hard conversations. Let's go ahead and build a business without sacrificing our fulfillment, our family, and our freedom. You don't want to work in your business, you want to work on it.